friends, and welcome to the Cinemondo podcast. I just showed the a very Hollywood opening. I should have one for Canada, shouldn't I?
Oh yeah, that's true.
We have to talk.
Damn it.
Yes, we'll do that. We'll do a shoot up there quickly.
Yeah, get some footage of the Canadian
up
film
there.
industry to make a new intro.
Toronto and stuff.
All of these intros that Burk does, we all shoot this. Mostly Burk, 90% of it. I did a few little shots here and there, but we shoot all this ourselves. This is not stock footage. This is actually us out there in the world shooting stuff. So
yeah.
Oh yeah, people say, "Oh, what app did you use?"
I know.
It's
Where'd
called
you get that
our
stock shot.
So and they're great opens. We love, and
Yeah.
they're just more and more. So it's they look really pro because we have a pro doing them.
That's right. And I love how someone compared it to Better Call Saul opening, because it has that sort of gritty, almost kind of video looking randomness. That's like the openings of their shows so great.
Yeah, they totally copied me. I can't.
They
believe
did. They
just
ripped you
ripped-
off, man.
they ripped
There's
us off.
a pending lawsuit, Cinemondo versus Better Call Saul. That is
Yeah, I
in
need
the
to-
courts.
I need to
Justice
get a
is
criminal
slow.
attorney to help me.
We're gonna sue Vince Gilligan. That's the final straw here.
Exactly.
All
Enough
right,
is
in the
enough.
meantime,
If you want to sue Vince Gilligan, you need a criminal attorney.
whoa, a really good one. That's
Yeah.
really funny.
Because
I bet we could find a good one.
That is not true.
Oh, it's all good, man. Don't worry about it.
It's all good,
It's all
man.
good. Anyway, speaking of Canada,
Yeah, but before we talk Canada, let's just a little comment. Subscribe, like time for our YouTube channel, Cinemondo. Please, if you haven't subscribed, you're just watching us for the first time. Please click that subscription button. Feel free to comment on any of our hundreds of videos. We do all kinds of things, and
please like
and
us.
and also there's a super thanks button that is new, and if you click that, you make a small donation to the greater cause, the Cinemondo cause, and your comment will be highlighted, and there'll be a special emoji, and we can go in there and we'll certainly respond to those, as we respond to a lot of our comments, but there's just so many. But we would
You
definitely
get
do
extra love if you use super thanks. And you guys have no idea how hard it was to qualify for super thanks on our channel. I want to thank all you guys out there who helped that happen, because it has to do with subscribers and views and enthusiasm and interaction. And everybody has been super cool out there doing that. So you guys helped make that happen. So now you can pay us.
But
well,
let's talk
about
today about one of our all-time favorite filmmakers who just got me interested in movies. One of those directors. Up there, I think, with the fantastic filmmakers that we all like, like all the ones that you can name.
right.
Up in that upper echelon.
Yeah.
But people sometimes forget this guy and don't include him in those groups, because he's made some movies that make people feel very uneasy
And very grossed out.
There's a ickiness to some of his movies.
Oh, God,
and, that body horror thing, which I think he invented. I don't know.
And he loves
I'm
it,
wrong,
man.
but-
Nobody does it better than him. And it's just like,
he goes out and reaches for it. Now you have, in this day of sort of homogenized filmmaking, it's great to have somebody that's still, doing what he wants to do, and
Exactly.
I think,
and what his things are. When you watch his movies, very clearly what his issues are, what his personal issues are.
Yeah.
He's one of those filmmakers that puts it right out on the clothesline there for the whole neighborhood to see what his personal fears are.
Yeah.
And the issues that he addresses in his films, they all seem to be related. It all seems to be in the same universe.
right.
Who are we talking about?
The great
David Cronenberg.
David
right?
Cronenberg, Canadian filmmaker who's done, of course, The Fly and Scanners and Rabid and I mean, on and on and on. History of Violence.
Yep.
All really
so many
just
good ones.
super films, interesting, different, but they're all from his. It's a Cronenberg film. You just know this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing David. Even his son had a film that came out last year that had sort of the same vibe, a little bit different.
Also very good.
Yeah, also very good.
Possessor. Yes.
Yeah, Possessor.
Great poster too.
But this one is brand new. It's coming out June 3rd here in the U.S. called Crimes of the Future, starring Cronenberg fave Viggo Mortensen, Kristen
Everybody's
Stewart, Leah Seydoux. I mean, Scott Speedman. So a great cast.
And this is his return to horror after he hasn't done like a horror movie full on horror like this for like 7 or 8 years. So this is kind of return to form. So oh God, he's probably bringing it. But I'm interested, Burk, in your head. Think about those things you were thinking about that are Cronenberg trademarks, And then after we watch this, see if you saw them in there and let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also the fact that it's been so long since he's made a horror film, technology has improved to the point where now he can probably do a lot of things that he always wanted to do.
Christ.
Which is like, watch out.
Watch out.
He's always been ahead of the curve, so we can only assume this one will be also.
And this is a red band trailer, so it'll be, no punches will be pulled.
We purposely found the red band trailer specifically because you cannot water down Cronenberg. Why bother? So let's see the really unfiltered trailer for this movie.
Okay.
So warning.
Yeah, kids, hide your eye. Cover your eyes.
Yeah.
All right,
leave the room. It probably got really gross sound effects also, I'm assuming. Okay.
Crimes of the Future, coming June 3rd. Let's check it out.
This sucker.
All right. Speed.
I can feel you pulling things around in there.
It's a brand new organ. Never before seen. We've all felt that the body was empty. Empty of meaning. And we've wanted to confirm that, so that we could fill it with meaning.
The world is a much more dangerous place now that pain has all but disappeared.
Surgery is sex, isn't it?
Is it?
You know it is. Surgery is the new sex.
But I don't like what's happening with the body. In particular, what's happening with my body. Which is why I keep cutting it up. What do you think they'd find inside it?
Outer space.
Oops. Sorry.
Let us not be afraid to map the chaos inside. Let us create a map that will guide us into the heart of darkness.
Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's sort of distilled Cronenbergian body horror. I don't know what the story is or anything. I see a lot of that visceral body stuff.
Yeah, the ears on the forehead, and but the interesting, of course, the equipment is sort of looks like H.R. Geiger stuff a little bit,
Right.
Sort of mixed in,
And his surgical tools from Dead Ringers,
Right.
kind of that idea of surgery being a fetish, and she says surgery is the new sex.
I love that.
It's kind of going into that evolutionary idea that he's had for a long time with things like Crash and Dead Ringers and Videodrome, especially, where it's like the new flesh, these ideas that there's some new morphed evolutionary step that we're taking towards some other reality, some other form of existence, and mutation, that idea.
Right.
So it looks like this is like distilled Cronenberg.
What I liked about it too, and this is something, you're exactly right. And what I like about Cronenberg too is a lot of times filmmakers do not approach horror from like a body-centric sexualized way, and he does. And this is not the first time. I mean, Dead Ringers was also sort of this the idea of penetration and the surgical aspect of it and getting inside the body is like this whole weird invasion but sexualized concept that I think makes it even more hardcore in a way when you think about it, because it punishes people for sex in most horror, like slasher movies. But in this, it looks like the surgery is sort of part of the kick. It's part of the evolution, not only of the body, but of the idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Goes back
So he's at my door. Middle of all that.
He did it overtly with Crash, but he goes into a lot of the J.G. Ballard stuff.
Yep.
If you read J.G. Ballard did that, where there were like mutations, and then there were mental mutations that would make people crave certain things that are unhealthy, you know, or like abnormal or whatever, that
Right.
becomes abnormal becomes normal, you know.
Right.
And J.G. Ballard and Cronenberg are spiritual brothers, I think, which is why they came together in that movie Crash, which is, you know, basically fetishizing car accidents.
I love that.
And that
You know, it's
kind of
funny.
thing.
We talked about that, how, you know, Cronenberg has said when this film premieres at Cannes, he expects walkouts.
Yeah.
And when I saw Crash, there were walkouts. Like, Cronenberg is just one of those filmmakers that people get very uncomfortable about it, because not only is it involved with the body, which, you know, a lot of people, especially in America, are very uncomfortable with their bodies. It goes a step further, and it, like you said, it goes into the sexualized realm where people are like, I just can't take it. And what I thought was so funny about Crash is that, you know, if Cronenberg fans have all seen Crash, you know, it's the whole thing fetishizing car wrecks. There's all kinds of like weird, you know, automobile parts, and just the whole, you know, centralizing of, you know, the wreckage and everything. And yet we're seeing all of this. Every scene was some sort of kinky, strange, you know, bizarre body horror thing Cronenberg could think about. And the walkouts happened when two men kissed. It was just too much. No, we're getting out of here. I was like, really? This is your line. This is where you decided you were going to watch anymore.
Thankfully, we have filmmakers like him that will go. Well, you know, that's what this is about. Filmmaking should be art. You know, we should have some people that do this stuff that make people uncomfortable.
Provoke, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, you should offend people once in a while. I mean, if you're not, you're just boring people, you know.
Exactly.
And so I have a few posters that are kind of,
well, like you said before we jump into the posters,
Mm-hmm.
the idea that he is in control of his narrative in a way that he does address his own issues. He's got very obvious things that he addresses over and over in his films, very much like David Lynch in a way, where if you watch all their films from the beginning, and you're talking about that sexualization horror type thing that's been in Cronenberg since the very beginning.
Yeah.
Look at The Brood, and look at Rabid and Shivers and those things.
Sure.
Like, remember the under the woman's arm,
Rabid,
probe that would come out and stab you, and
it's Marilyn Chambers. She was a porn star. He cast her, so that was no accident.
The idea that sex is an infection, you know, infects you, you know, which it kind of does when you think about it. It you know, implants a parasite. You know, if you look at, I think that's what he's trying to address, is just the weirdness of being human in a way that's like, what if aliens looked at us and looked at, you know, maybe what if alien robots looked at biological beings like humans?
Yeah.
It's pretty gross, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, if you take away the fact that we sexualize these things that we do, if you take that away, suddenly it becomes this really gross thing that people do to reproduce, and the baby comes out, and it's blood, and you know, it's all these
violent
things.
pain.
If you look at it in a certain way, it's like it's this biological process, and I think that's what Cronenberg might be addressing. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's why Brood was such a perfect depiction of his, you know. And also the synopsis for this brings a little extra layer to it. It says humans adapt to a synthetic environment with new transformations and mutations. With his partner Caprice, Saul Tenser, celebrity performance artist, publicly showcases the metamorphosis of his organs in an avant-garde performance. So it sounds like he's sort of on display with all the weirdness and the surgeries and the I guess he had almost looked like like almost skeletal appendage growing out of his back or something. So this is all, he's doing it out in public, almost as like one of those, you know, provocative things. People are probably kind of hiding, or, you know, sounds like a lot of them getting surgeries to have these weird mutations removed, but he's like, just you know, what's going to happen if I keep going? Let's just keep going. You know? So it's gonna be crazy.
Like fetishized surgery. And it's also, there's a lot of influence from William S. Burroughs, which is another person that he
with Naked Lunch.
Naked Lunch he collaborated with. And but if you read Naked Lunch, and you read, you know, things like all of Burroughs's stories and books, there's also a fetishistic aspect to it. You can tell why Cronenberg was attracted to J.G. Ballard and
they all have coffee together and talk weird things. One thing I'll say about there is CGI obviously in this, you can tell, but there's also, it looks like some practical stuff, at least to me, which I really like, because that stuff has a certain quality to it. Like
it does.
It felt like, okay, it's kind of there. That's sort of a Cronenberg staple. So
for sure,
kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So some posters real quick, so we're running long. But so of course, this is showing the incisions and then the star. This is a way to try and cram your star heads in there. Not the best poster I've seen. It looked like almost a conglomeration of 3 different ideas that they just wanted to put them all together. What that was.
Kind of a snakeskin pattern on there.
Yeah, it's got like a weird sort of skin texture. And in fact, speaking of that, here's a close up of that. It's sort of like just. It almost looks like there's drawings in it or something.
It's obviously the French.
Is this the French one?
Yeah. This was probably the Cam poster.
Yeah,
and then you have
in France they spell things wrong.
They spell things weird.
Incorrect.
The names are correct, which is
got the E, and then this looks like the poster, the star cell that they then said, "Hey, we like the teaser poster with the meat, and we like the star cell, so let's put it all in here."
That looks very 1997, though. That last one.
Yes, it does. It looks pretty old-fashioned when you think about it. We gotta show. That's a terrible shot of Viggo Mortensen. Also,
he's wearing some kind of prosthetics on his face, though. He's got his
he doesn't have eyebrows.
On his head, and looks like his chin's been augmented or something. I don't know, maybe not.
It just looks weird.
He's got like some scarring and
This is another French poster. That's the star cell poster, clearly. And then we have another teaser poster with the close-up of just, I was like, okay. So that's really icky.
Cross.
Yeah, look at that. It's creepy. And then we have what I think is probably the best poster. This is the classiest. It shows him in his cocoon, I guess, sort of in a way, like at his performance, as what I'm guessing. A little more mysterious, a little less provocative, gore-wise, but you don't really see him. He's not as recognizable, and the names are pretty small. Just right there above the title. But they're just selling Cronenberg and stars. There's not even copy lines on these.
Right.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, it's coming out. Yeah, I think he always makes interesting films, and they're always, when there's
very
we have an auteur out there making interesting movies. I mean, it's worth it. People will walk out, but if you're okay with that, stick with it.
Prepare to be uncomfortable. That's the Cronenberg experience.
Right.
This one might be related, like stylistically and narratively, to Videodrome.
That's right.
Yeah,
I worked on his film History of Violence. I worked on a poster for that, and they were down to 2 posters, mine and someone else's. They sent it to Cronenberg to be the final vote. He loved mine, but the studio went with theirs. It was another one. I know. I'm like, but the fact that Cronenberg got to see my poster is like, oh my God.
That's very cool. That's
very
cool.
Exciting. I know. It was very exciting. Fortunately, I can't show it to anyone because, it's the studio gets weird about unsanctioned key art. So sorry, you guys. Nobody gets to see it in private.
Yes. After off the air, send it over.
Yeah, I'll send it to you guys later. All right.
That was fun. Crimes of the Future coming soon. David Cronenberg. Thanks for checking out our trailer.
Prepare yourself.
Yes.
Prepare yourself. Exactly. Okay. Bye, everybody. See ya.
Bye.